Welcome to the State of Georgia Department of Community Affairs Georgia Rental Assistance Program for Renters. The Georgia Department of Community Affairs is a state agency that supports communities, including local government officials, individuals, and families, with job creation and business development, avenues for safe and affordable housing, and community development. Visit dca.ga.gov for more information. The CDC moratorium, which may be subject to change, is scheduled to end June 30th, 2021. While this may change, the GRA program was operationalized in March. Individuals and families should speak with their landlords about the GRA program. DCA does not provide legal advice regarding evictions. However, individuals can visit georgialegalaid.com, which provides assistance for those who need it. The U.S. Treasury Department allocated $25 billion to state and local governments. Georgia received $552 million in stimulus funds through the Federal Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Funds are intended to provide relief to landlords and renters who are behind on rental and utility payments due to the coronavirus pandemic. DCA has created an online application for individuals to apply to receive funding to bring past due rent and utility balances current. The program started in March of 2021. The date was announced on DCA's website and social media pages. The program will end on September 30th, 2022, or when the funds are spent, whichever comes first. The money will be paid directly to landlords and utility companies where possible on behalf of the renters. 12 months of rent will be paid, but up to 15 months will be allowed for special circumstances. Individuals will submit an application, and once reviewed and approved in the portal, money will then be paid to landlords and utility companies. For past due support, up to 12 months or $15,000 of rental and utility assistance can be provided. No arrearages may be addressed prior to March 13, 2020. Future rental assistance cannot be provided unless the arrearage is also addressed. Total months of assistance including arrears cannot exceed 12 months. For future support, amount of forward rent is limited to 3 months at this time. Assistance for future rent payments, where no back rent is owed at the time of application, are not being accepted at this time. Future utility payments will not be made. A note for all to remember is all assistance is based on remaining availability of funding. For total support value, once a household has reached 12 months of arrearage but not yet received the maximum limit of $15,000, they may be able to request an exception to the 12-month limit. The exception would allow for an additional 3 months under special circumstances, and a household will be required to submit a request and demonstrate continued housing instability. In addition, the amount of assistance for each household is limited to $15,000 and may not exceed 15 months of assistance. Payment of reasonable accrued late fees included in rental or utility arrears are allowed and limited to 8% of total arrearage. In order to be eligible for assistance, a renter household living in Georgia must meet the following conditions: earning no more than 80% of the current area median income for the county or metropolitan statistical area of residence as determined by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Income eligibility may be based upon the household's total income for 2020 or its monthly income at the time of application. Has either qualified for unemployment benefits or have experienced a loss or reduction in household income, incurred significant cost, or experienced other financial hardship during the COVID-19 pandemic, which the applicant must attest in writing. Can demonstrate a risk of experiencing homelessness or housing instability by providing an eviction notice, a past rent notice, or a past due utility notice. And lastly, renter households that receive a monthly federal subsidy, also known as Housing Choice Voucher, Public Housing, or Project-Based Section 8. Program eligibility is limited to the tenant's portion of the rent. Those not eligible are renter households that have an income above the 80% of area median income, and renter households that cannot show a COVID-19 hardship or risk of homelessness or housing instability through a past due bill or rent statement. To verify renter status, eligible housing are rental houses, apartments, mobile homes which are eligible for rent assistance on the unit being rented, and if the mobile home is owned by the applicant, rental assistance may not be requested for the lot being rented. Ineligible housings are households residing in a hotel, motel, temporary lodging, or a boarding house, lease, purchase, and rent-to-own units, and housing cooperatives. For renter documents, the following must be provided: proof of identity, lease agreement, past due utilities, risk of housing instability, income eligibility, and proof of hardship caused by COVID-19. Acceptable proof of identity are driver's license, government issue photo identification, U.S. military photo ID, tribal photo ID, passport, and passport card. For verification, name on the identification must match the name on the application submitted. For lease agreement verification, all pages of the lease document must be completed. It also must be signed by landlord and renter, and lease must match application in terms of renter first name and last name, property address, landlord name, and monthly rent amount. And lastly, lease is current, such as check start and end dates. For lease alternatives, lease contains terms of agreement concerning month-to-month tenancy, or certification must include language that indicates that the renter still resides at the property address, such as city, state, and zip code, renter first name and last name, landlord name, monthly rental amount, terms of agreement such as start date and end date, or month-to-month or until parties agree to terminate, and lastly, certification must be signed and dated by the landlord and renter. Households requesting assistance for past due rent may also request assistance for past due utilities. Acceptable documentation can be current utility bill with past due amount. For verification, name must match utility bill on application, address on the utility bill must match the address on the application, and service dates are not prior to March 13th, 2020. Assistance amount includes past due rent amounts, which are based on lease agreement and/or landlord delinquent rent statement, past due utility bills, prorated amounts for the month of March 2020 beginning March 13th, 2020, up to 12 months total, up to 3 months in the future, up to 8% late fees, and $15,000 maximum. It does not include rent or utility costs prior to March 13th, 2020, and the date that the federal emergency declaration was issued. For risk of housing instability, acceptable documentation can be an eviction notice, past due rent notice, or past due utility bills. For verification, name must match application, address must match application, and name on utility bill must match utility name on application. For income eligibility, income must include income for all adult household members who reside full-time, a maximum of $480 annual income for an adult full-time student, unearned income attributable to a minor, and state unemployment. Income does not include wages of children under the age of 18, foster care income, adoption assistance, and income for a live-in aid, and federal COVID-19 assistance. Acceptable annual income eligibility documents include a 2020 Form 1040, which includes attached income documents such as W-2 or 1099, and income documents such as wage statement, interest statement, unemployment compensation, alimony and child support, benefit income such as Social Security, TANF, SSI, and SSDI, and self-employment documentation. For attestation, DCA may provide a documentation waiver or exception under the following circumstances: disability, circumstances related to COVID-19, and lack of technology access. Attestation must include annual or monthly income, one of the above reasons that income documentation is not available, and an explanation. Acceptable monthly income eligibility includes acceptable documents for monthly income eligibility includes income verification for at least the most recent 2 months, and in addition to annual options are pay stubs, third-party verification from the employer or a letter from their employer indicating reduced pay, cash assistance such as Social Security income, unemployment benefits, worker compensation excluding lump sum distribution, or public assistance benefits. Documentation of any income received for self-employment, including documentation of income from the operation of a business or profession or direct payment for services, bank statements, and documentation of Social Security, annuities, retirement income, pensions, disability, or death benefits to include spousal benefits, and other similar types of periodic or monthly receipts, including benefits received by anyone 17 years old or younger. For annual income eligibility, verification must include name on the income verification to match the renter name on the application or a household member. For monthly income eligibility, verification that the document is within the most recent 60 days of application submission, and the 2020 annual income or current income average over the last 60 days must be at or below 80% of the area median income. In order to determine your area median income, please refer to this chart. Use annual income, find county, find number of persons in household, and the amount found must be at or below 80% of the area median income to be eligible. For COVID hardship attestation, the attestation or formal statement must describe loss of income, reduction of income, other financial hardship, and how it connects to COVID-19. The attestation will be completed in the portal. For assistance priorities, priority will be given to eligible households which meet the following criteria. Include an individual who has been unemployed for the 90 days immediately prior to the date of application for assistance, and have income at or below 50% of the area median income. Important notes to remember: DCA will have dedicated staff members devoted only to these priority households, with other staff processing non-priority households. Applications where a household is only requesting assistance for past due utilities or future rent or utilities without past due rent will be screened out and will not be accepted at this time, but may be reconsidered at a later date subject to funding availability. Applicants from one of the 12 jurisdictions in the state that receive their own ERA funding will need to contact their local government for more information on the status of the local programs. Such jurisdictions are City of Atlanta, Augusta-Richmond County, Chatham County, Cherokee County, Clayton County, Cobb County, DeKalb County, Forsyth County, Fulton County, Gwinnett County, Hall County, and Henry County. As individual jurisdictions exhaust funding under this program, potential applicants in those communities may submit applications to DCA for assistance subject to funding availability. If a potential applicant is in one of these jurisdictions, they will need to contact their local government for more information on the status of the local program. Applicants are not eligible to receive assistance from more than one jurisdiction for the same time period. DCA reserves the right to temporarily stop accepting applications based upon volume received to allow for applications already accepted or under review to be processed. The electronic application portal will be updated on the status to respond to applicants accordingly. To apply, an application for rental assistance may be submitted by either an eligible household or by a landlord on behalf of that eligible household. A landlord submitting on behalf of a renter will need to inform the renter and obtain their signature for the application, which may be documented electronically. In this situation, the renter may also submit a separate application for assistance with rent and utility arrearages. Note: all documentation will be uploaded electronically for both parties, and neither will be able to see what documentation the other party has provided. Applications will be submitted electronically through a secure online website. No applications or documentation may be submitted via email, as email will only be used to notify applicants and landlords when they have a message in the portal that requires action on their part or notifies them of a change in status of their request. And a paper application can be made available upon request, and these applicants may be referred to a partner agency for assistance in submitting an online application. Send paper application package to the attention of Georgia Rental Assistance Program, 60 Executive Park, South Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia 30329. Once received, the information is entered into the electronic system, and the program staff will contact the other party applicant, landlord or tenant, to request their application and documentation. All applicants shall certify to the following statement. In signing this certification, including electronic signature, you are acknowledging that falsification of documents or any material falsehoods or omissions in the application, including knowingly seeking duplicative benefits, is subject to state and federal criminal penalties. You are particularly put on notice that 18 U.S.C. 1001 provides, among other things, that whoever knowingly and willingly makes or uses a document or writing containing any false, fictitious, or fraudulent statement or entry in any matter within the jurisdiction of any department or agency of the United States will be fined not more than $10,000 or imprisoned for not more than 5 years, or both. Where an application is submitted but there are one or more issues with the supporting document submitted, or an issue with information or certifications within the application, GRA will have a staff team dedicated to follow up with applicants in an attempt to correct those issues. Once a GRA staff member begins the follow-up process with an applicant to troubleshoot issues with the applicant will have 10 business days to provide the correct information or documents for the application to be considered complete. If the applicant does not provide correct information or is unresponsive after 10 business days where an application is still considered incomplete, DCA reserves the right to continue follow-up with the applicant, refer the applicant to a partner agency for assistance, or consider the application closed. Applications are only able to be reviewed when they are complete and where applicants resolve outstanding issues or errors. The application will be marked as complete to move forward for review. Normally, upon a determination of applicant eligibility, payments for rent and rental arrears are made to landlords. Utilities and home energy costs and arrears are made to utility providers. In instances where the landlord or utility provider does not agree to accept a payment on behalf of a household, payments can be made directly to a household. In this situation, it must be documented that the landlord and/or the utility company were unresponsive to outreach for them to participate. This includes a request for participation is sent in writing by certified mail to the landlord or utility provider, and the addressee does not respond to the request within 14 calendar days after mailing. At least 3 attempts are made by email over a 10 calendar day period to request the landlord or utility provider's participation. All efforts must be documented. And landlord confirms in writing they do not wish to participate. In the event that a direct payment to an applicant is required after the above efforts are unsuccessful, the applicant will be requested to complete an ACH direct deposit form for this requirement. If they are unbanked, they will be eligible to receive paper checks. Applicants who believe they were denied access to the Georgia Rental Assistance Program as a result of barriers which prevented them from applying or because they were determined to be ineligible during the application and verification process may appeal the decision. When submitting a request, appeals shall be submitted within 14 calendar days of the date of the application denial letter. A formal request must be submitted by email to GAERA support@dcaga.gov. When submitting requests, please include applicant name, address, preferred method of contact, such as email or phone, landlord name and contact information, and the reason provided for the denial. Please state the reasons why the applicant believes the application denial was an error and provide any additional documentation necessary to support the applicant's assertion of the same. When an appeal is submitted, the decision of the program administrator shall be issued in writing within 14 calendar days of receipt of the appeal and shall be final. DCA is required to establish data privacy and security requirements for the information that includes appropriate measures to ensure that the privacy of the individuals and households is protected, provides that the information, including any personally identifiable information, is collected and used only for the purpose of submitting reports, and provides confidentiality protections for data collected about any individuals who are survivors of intimate partner violence, sexual assault, or stalking. Employees and agents of the state will not disclose any applicant's personal confidential information as part of the program. All confidential information of applicants will be kept secure and unavailable to persons outside of the program. If the state receives a request for public records related to the program, only non-confidential information as verified by the state will be provided. The Georgia Rental Assistance Program shall be implemented consistent with the state of Georgia's commitment to state and federal equal opportunity laws. No person shall be excluded from participation in, denied the benefit of, or be subjected to discrimination under this program on the basis of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, disability, or age. The state of Georgia will provide reasonable accommodations and/or modifications or provide language assistance to individuals requesting such assistance to benefit from the services provided by the Georgia Rental Assistance Program. DCA anticipates contracting with external partners for services to applicants. The services will include the partner assisting with the completion of the application process, including document upload. Referrals to partnering agencies may include applicants who self-identify as initiating or experiencing an eviction. For more additional information, please visit georgiarentalassistance.ga.gov. For any questions or to contact a representative, please email rentalassistance@dca.ga.gov. Thank you.